Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. May 20th. Yeah, May's almost over. It's a little over 2 months into, shutdown, reopening, that stuff. So, kind of give you an update of where things are at the store. So, let me bring up some of the stuff I have here. So, first of all, kind of looking at the reports. Um, like Ankeny didn't open till the 8th of May, so it's not been open. But I've done a report from the beginning of May through the 19th, just to kind of see where things are sitting. And I know Ankeny's running about, actually, surprisingly, it's running about 70% of sales for the month, and that's without a week in there. So that's actually really encouraging. So that's pretty much telling me that Ankeny may be approaching normal sales probably in the next month or so, which is good. Looking at Duckworth Ames, that's down. We're running right now about 70% of our normal May, which is also pretty encouraging. And then the Loft is running about yeah, probably about 60%, so it's not doing quite as well for the month. I think that a lot of people probably needed more kids' clothes, and now they're starting to maybe buy for themselves. I know it's kind of days of good and days of bad. And then for the, you know, for the year, when you look at for the year numbers, it's like um, almost depressing. But uh, Duckworth for the year is Ankeny is running about 65% of sales compared to last year. Ames is running about 60% of sales last year, and Loft is running again about 60% of sales last year. So far for the year, it looks like across the board have taken about a 40% hit in revenue, which is pretty substantial. Um, Looked at um, financial or March, no, April financials. We're getting the May. So looking at April financials the other day just to kind of see what the impact has been since we were shut down pretty all of April and part of March, and so far the business has lost right around $80,000 for the year. So, I'm assuming for those that had to do almost a complete shutdown like us and lost a majority of the sales during that time are probably going to be running a similar percentage, or I guess dollar amounts relative based on what your sales are. But I didn't calculate the percentage of that. But anyway, so that's about online. I mentioned in my earlier videos when this thing first started, we had, I wanted to spend. I didn't want to spend more than $60,000 of cash reserves for this, and with an $80,000 loss, it may have been a little above that. That's okay. At least that's the thing about having a small business is making sure, as we're finding out, cash is king in these days. Now, for the good news, we have that the payroll protection program going, so we're almost about 3 weeks into this. So we got payday this week, and the payroll protection was $117,500. So basically, what that means is the payroll for 2 months is covered under that program. So unemployment, come work, type of thing, and it actually been working out pretty well. And so when I say we have like about an $80,000 loss, here's how I'm kind of calculating how this is going to work is over the next 8 weeks, what I'm expecting is, since payroll is covered, we should be able to replenish that cash reserve with the sales that are coming in, even though they're coming in, like about 70%. So I'm anticipating replenishing at least $60,000 of that cash reserve over that time, which is good because if there's another dip, then we'll be able to. The dip should be shorter, when I say dip, if there's a closure or some other types of things that have to happen later, we should be able to get by with that money. So we're going to hold on to that pretty tight. So that's actually pretty encouraging. Customers have been great. Some people are wearing masks, some aren't. Um, they've been. I haven't heard any complaints about anything. So I think that uh, hurrah, hooray to people of Ames and surrounding communities and Ankeny that shop with us. It's been really, really good. We still have people asking us if we're open, so I must not be getting the advertising message out, and I'll have to work on that this weekend. Make sure people understand that we're open for business and going. Um, so yeah, so I think pretty encouraging. Still haven't decided what's going to happen once the PPP is over, especially when if you're still running 70 or 80% of sales. That's a little concerning. Um, we'll probably adjust our pay a little bit, and we'll see what happens with that. And then on to the PPP. So the forgiveness papers are out on how to do those. So, I was kind of reading through it last night, and it doesn't look too bad. So you got to calculate your FTEs based on two different time frames. I'm going to pick the January 1st to February 29th, 2020. I calculate the FTEs on that. And that's the forgiveness number you need to try to hit. Doesn't look like we're going to have any problem with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually start filling out the form this week, because I already know my fixed expenses I'm going to use that aren't payroll, and that's rent and a few utilities. So that's pretty easy. I already have what those numbers are going to be, so I can fill those in. Payroll, since we're doing the same payroll every 2 weeks, it's going to be the same dollar amount, the same everything. And the health insurance premiums are the same in April or in May and June. I can pretty much get this thing filled out this weekend, and as the numbers come in, I can just validate that they're right, and I'm going to go for forgiveness right when this is over. I don't have a lot of faith in how the federal government's going to dink around with these rules of this thing. I could just see it get more convoluted, and I can also see it that the Fed's just like, well, if you're under 2 million, you took under a million or something, or if you took under $250,000, that it's just automatically forgiven. I'm just not going to take a chance. I just want to get this thing out of my hair and get 100% forgiven. So that's kind of where we're at in that. So this weekend I'll go ahead and get that all filled out. Besides that, there's really not much more. We're still moving ahead with the Ankeny plans. We got kind of some drawings. I just haven't had time to. I just haven't had time. It's funny we don't have time. Haven't had time to really digest those. I've been out of town for 4 days, and with the shoulder surgery and stuff, it just hasn't been a focus. But we're going to try to do that here in the next couple days. So that expansion, at least the design work, is still moving forward. As right now, I don't feel hope that it's going to happen, just because sales just aren't there yet. But hopefully, once we get out of summer, that will change, and that we'll have the plans ready, and then we can drop the stuff for permits and maybe have something open by the end of the year. We'll see how that plays out. So anyway, so those just keep chugging. Take a look at your sales. Those that have businesses, comments to let me know how you're trending. I'd really like to hear how other people are trending in different industries. Get out to eat. Support those little mom and pop businesses, and I know everyone would appreciate that, and support those ones that are just getting open. So with that, I'll give a shout out a Monday after I do the PPP calculations and let you know how it went, and kind of walk through how I did all the calculations. So, all right, catch you on later.